hated white folks. I did. Like, I hated white people. When we got invited to the White House by Donald Trump, and this was when I was still an all-black program at the time. I'm sorry, but if you are baby mama number 6 or number 5, I'm sorry. That is your fault. When you're in an impoverished area, to be frank, you get crime and you get a lot of children.
Okay.
Because all people have time to do is argue and have sex.
Welcome back to another episode of Black and Jewish. I have a special guest here today that I'm so excited that he came to be here in person. He is the founder of the X for Boys, King Randall. King Randall, thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here. And how do I pronounce your name? Because I was like Ashira. That's it? Okay, all right. Making sure.
So we were talking off camera that I was like, is your name really King? Or is it so? And people usually call me Ashira, but you got it right, Ashira.
Yep, I was just like, I don't know. We're going to ask on camera.
Yes. So I've been like following you for a while and seeing your like how you came up and just very, very inspired by what you're doing with young Black men. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me like what inspired you to start your school, the X for Boys, and where did that name come from, the X?
Sure. Well, I started this organization back in 2019, right out of my house in my dining room. I just had a friend of mine who was sentenced to 30 years in prison for a murder. Even though he didn't commit the murder, he had something to do with the murder weapon. And my whole question, to the courts at the time was, is there any type of rehabilitation programs for juvenile offenders? I'm just like, there should be something, for them to do. There should be something for them to get into, somebody to help them. And
how old was your friend?
19 at the time.
Okay.
No, excuse me. We were 17 at the time. I was 19 when I started the program. But we were 17 at the time, and he got sentenced, and I was just trying to figure out, is there any type of like intervention for children, because he'd never been in trouble or anything like that. Never had anything on his record. He got in trouble for that first time, and he was out of here. And I just wanted to know, like, were there any rehabilitation programs in our just in our area? And there were none except for this program they called functional family therapy, where they met for 1 day a week for an hour for 3 months, and that was online, and that was that was rehab. And I'm just like, that is terrible. Like, that is, and they're spending $7,000 a year on that. I'm just like, that's terrible, man. I'm just like,
and this is in Georgia.
This is in Georgia.
Okay.
I live in Albany, Georgia. But that's what I wanted to start the X for Boys program. And X is essentially like a math equation, and it just means unknown. So we're teaching, the boys the unknown to create a man. Our motto is let us make man. And so that's where I got the idea to start the X for Boys program. And that was January 19th, 2019. And my son was born 9 days later. My oldest son was born January 28th, 2019. So.
Okay, take me back to King Randall before 19 years old. Like, what made you even ask the question of, is there any rehab resources here? Like, how did you grow up? How did you become interested in talking about and teaching this topic?
I was raised in a full family. I had my stepdad, my mom, my grandma, my granddads on both sides, my uncles. All of them put something different in me. Even in the neighborhood, we had a local deacon that stayed behind our house. His name is Deacon Bogan. He would teach us how to do yards, and he would, put us in time out, all that type of stuff. He used to get on us because we used to have an alley right by his house, and we used to ride our bikes down there, getting in trouble and stuff like that. We had the guy down the street from us. I know most Black neighborhoods, we had the candy lady, but we had the candy man.
Okay.
We call him Pie Man. So we go down there, buy pies, pickles, chips, whatever, for like $1. And that was our neighborhood. Mr. David down the street from us, he taught us how to lay bricks and things like that. My stepdad worked on cars. He painted cars for the Marine Corps base in Albany. So I painted cars growing up. I built grills. I welded everything. I did all that stuff growing up. But in hindsight,
is this how they make them in Georgia? I'm from California originally. I'm like, man, these men are working with their hands.
We did everything. We did every single thing. And as I grew up, I'm just in the idea that everybody's doing this. I'm thinking all kids are growing up learning how to do all this stuff. So as an adult, I'm like, y'all don't know how to like change some oil? The kid's like, no, what's that? Like, I'm like, you don't know what changing oil is? And I'm still, 18, 19.
Around you, were your community members also growing up how you were growing up? Or was this just your family structure and like maybe your deacon and your neighbor? Or was the rest of the kids around you also being exposed to this?
They were being exposed to it in my neighborhood, but I think that because I lived in my house,
Yeah.
I took specific things. I mean, my family just wasn't gonna not have success for me. In specific, even like dealing in, everybody got family drama or whatever, but I'm
Yeah.
everybody's favorite cousin. I'm everybody's favorite nephew. Like when it came to me, everybody was like, no, like he's
Yeah.
gonna be all right. Even if
Yes.
auntie didn't like this niece or whatever, I'm the one who everybody loves. Like everybody's like, no, he's the one that's going to be okay. So that's even now. Like I keep the family structured and together now. Like because everybody looks to me as the favorite. So whenever we having family functions, etc., they all come to my house, whatever, and it's all just peace and love.
Mm.
But we had other kids in the neighborhood that my stepdad did help raise. Like he taught all of us how to wood. He taught all of us how to paint. We grew our own food in the backyard, like to the point where we get out of school. My mom asks us what we want to eat. We go outside and pick it. Like we go pick
Mm.
the greens and the tomatoes. We grew seasonings too. Like we grew everything in the backyard. We had chickens for our eggs. We had goats, turtles. We caught squirrels, raccoons, everything you could think of. If we could catch it, we made it a pet.
Yeah.
And we had a zoo in the backyard, man. That's how I grew up. Like just getting our hands dirty and being outside. Like we stayed outside. To the point. I mean, like we got our bicycle stolen all the time, and like just whatever. We had this big sand hill we used to run up and down when we were kids. We interacted with the neighborhood, and our moms like were just not worried about like what was happening. Like, granted, no, my mom was like still like a little strict, just making sure she checking in with me, see where I am. But for the
Yes.
most part, like they weren't worried about anything in our neighborhood, and we didn't grow up in like the coolest neighborhood ever. Like it was
Right.
still in a more impoverished side of town. But my mom,
Was
wasn't.
there lots of crime, or was it just impoverished where people just didn't have a lot of money, but
Yeah, it's
neighbors were friendly and there wasn't a
correct.
lot of crime?
That's where we were. Now, I will say that we weren't poor or anything like that. We were decent middle class. But we had a house. We had a nice house that just happened to be situated in the hood.
Okay.
So so if you came on our street, like you had all the other houses, but then our house just stood out like a sore thumb.
Were you getting robbed a lot or what?
No,
Okay.
there was respect in that neighborhood, man. Like we stayed outside and did everything, so nobody ever really like it was never any bad blood. Granted, we did get our house broken into one time. I think I was in fourth grade. We were sleeping and somebody broke in, but you know that didn't really hurt anything. I mean, I was scared for like a week and I was fine after that. But other than that, never had any other crazy issues. I mean, people steal your bikes or steal something you leave outside. That's just
That's just how it goes.
that's just how it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was fine. I loved my neighborhood. I wouldn't take nothing away from. I know everybody's name that was in the neighborhood. They know mine. They love to see me come back to the house sometime and do videos and stuff. Like neighborhood still loves me.
So right before this incident happened with your
Mhm.
friend, were you already passionate about helping young men? Like, was this something already sparked in you, or were you often doing something completely different? Like, when you were 17 or 16, what did you think you were gonna do in the world?
When I was 16, I wanted to be the president.
Okay.
When I was 16, I thought I was gonna be the president. And I don't have that dream anymore. But that's where I was when I was 16. I always had an idea to want to, change things, and I was different at school. I wore a suit to school every day in high school.
Wow.
11th and 12th grade, I wore a suit every single day with a briefcase.
Wow.
That was
This
me.
wasn't required. Everyone was dressing normal. That's how you want to dress.
Yep, and I dressed just like that every day. Even if I didn't have on a suit, I had on like a shirt and tie or some type of sweater and some slacks. Had my briefcase every day. Everybody knew something was wrong with me if I ever came to school like a hoodie and some jeans or something like
They're
that.
like, he depressed.
Yeah, what's up with you? Like you ain't dressed up today. So yeah, I always dressed different. I always maneuvered different in school and around. And I got married immediately out of high school, like, and then I went to the Marines. I left there and I came back and I started doing some studying on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And I was doing that studying and I was listening to their speeches, and it started to sound like 2019 and 2018 at the time.
Mm,
And so I was just trying to figure out what was it, that they were trying to accomplish that never got finished.
mm,
And I realized they didn't train replacements. A lot of those
mm.
leaders and movers and shakers at the time, they were almost building they were building up as if everybody needed them. They were building up to a point where they had to be there. They weren't building any proteges or anything like that. Nobody coming up behind them. So when they died, the dreams died too. When they
Yeah.
died, the ideas died. When they died, the movements passed away as well.
Yeah.
They didn't train replacements. So my goal, right now, is training replacements. So before I step out trying to do some big major changes and things like that, I'm giving the keys and the wisdom to children right now. So in 15, 20 years, you'll see these kids that we've, sat down and had some time to affect. You'll see them going out in the community and affecting change. So when I do decide to start making some major moves, if you decide to drop a bomb on me, that's cool. You have to drop a bomb on about 500 to 600 other kids and other adults that we've touched. So the dream won't die with me. We're teaching them all to be able to be accountable and do the same things for our community. And I'm not one of those people, as much as I, love everyone, I'm not one of those people who I'm doing something for the overarching Black community. That ain't me. I'm doing something for Albany, Georgia. That's my hometown, and that's what I believe in. And that's where I stand. I'm not here to fix the Black people in South St. Louis or.
You don't want to help us out in California?
Oh, okay, dang.
I'm all about Albany, Georgia.
Okay.
And I think sometimes people aren't honest about that. Because I'm only one person.
Yeah.
And I cannot sit here and act like I can help every state. And granted, I might can send you a PDF file or something like that of what I'm doing.
Right.
But can I actually really affect the Black community in California? I cannot.
Well, could you create a model? Well, you've already created the school. Could you help other leaders, say, in their states and give them that model? Like, I guess, create chain schools, or are you just not interested in that?
I'm personally not interested in franchising type thing at all.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't mind if people use the type of model that we use to do something else where they are. People have seen what I'm doing and have been, sparked to do something where they are. And I encourage them.
Would you train those leaders how to do it, how you're doing it? Or you just like, here, I'm an inspiration.
Maybe.
And I might help you with a PDF file.
I mean, come on, you gotta help us.
But but I'm just being honest. Maybe I could if I had time.
Okay.
But I truly don't have the time. I just don't.
Right.
I got 3 sons, and I'm actively training and raising them. I'm also doing our after school program, and the city of Albany needs work beyond measure.
Yeah.
So I honestly wouldn't even have the time to really just sit down and train others. So, I mean, maybe I could sit down and create like a training session that somebody else could do for others. But I tell everybody the same thing. I don't have this like crazy different idea. I don't have this, long 6-page blueprint about how I did it. I'm just like, look, I wanted to see something great done in my community. And I went out and saw and did what I didn't see. And that's it. Whatever you see in your community that needs to be fixed, do your best at trying to fix it. I didn't start off in a big building. I started off in my dining room.
Yeah.
I didn't start off, on the news. I didn't start off having hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. I started out with no followers, literally doing nothing.
Right.
And I started doing something with what I had.
Right.
I went out and fixed cars, and I was cutting hair, and I was painting and all that stuff to support the program.
Yeah.
I never charged for anything that we've done. We've done free field trips and everything. And I paid for that stuff out of my pocket, like just cutting hair at 2:00 in the morning, fixing cars, whatever, trying to pay my own bills, take care of my own son, as well as trying to make sure those kids were safe. And not only that, I took kids from the juvenile court system. They came to live at my house, like especially during COVID. They came to live with me. And even if sometimes we had to eat hot and ready pizzas, that's what we did.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just tell people, you got to want it. Like some people just want to look like they want. They want to look like they want to help. I'm like, no, the real help comes in. I don't got time to post today. I don't got time to go over here. I don't got time to take pictures right now. I don't have time. I just got to do it. Like this is what I want to see.
Yeah.
So that's what I got up and did. And so now I've maneuvered to a point where our organization, we have staff members, et cetera. Like we're running literally right now as we're speaking, our staff members are with our students. But that is where we've gotten to, and I'm able to, help the staff, with the things that I've learned. But now I've maneuvered to a point where, okay, the Extra Boys program is running in full effect without me having to be there all the time. Now I'm serving on different boards in our city because I'm understanding now that our city, in the city of Albany, things that are happening in leadership are starting to affect our children. And so I've discovered that as I've been working with kids for the past 6 years. So I'm like, okay, how do I step out of that role for a minute and go over here and figure out what's happening at the school board, what's happening at our city commission meetings, what is happening at our county commission meetings, what are happening on our utility board, because you're affecting our parents. Our parents are having to ask the organization, can we help them with the light bill? Or why don't we have any, livable wage jobs? Why is our household income $23,000? These parents got to work 6 jobs, and you're expecting the kids to become, some great citizens, and all the other programs charge for everything. And these parents have to leave the kids at home by themselves. They're having to raise themselves. So tell me, how exactly are you expecting these kids to become model citizens when the leadership is trash to the point where they will not give citizens any leeway to have a job, to have real money, and learn how to read, etc. I'm sorry to keep going, but our school system is literally trying to pick up the ball where our city is missing the mark. And I hate to do it like this, but our city is losing the mark. Our school system literally has a wraparound service program. What does that mean, King Randall? The wraparound service program that they have, no school system that I've ever seen is doing this. And people will talk about our low reading rates, et cetera, in Albany, and they're not understanding the nuances of why our reading rates and our school literacy rates are so low. Our school system has wraparound support services to the point where they do free healthcare for the kids. They have clinics at the schools. They do free dental. They do free vision. They send food home with the kids. They send tons of food home with the kids. So wait,
why are the literacy rates so low? Is it because they don't have healthcare, because they don't have food, because their basic needs are not being met, and so parents can't focus on teaching their children how to read?
So let me get there with that. So when I mentioned the wraparound support services, and they're offering healthcare and offering dental and offering vision and sending food home for the kids, trying to do a summer feeding program, trying to open up more pre-K programs for the kids, because the only legal grade you have to go to is first grade. So our superintendent is telling us that the kids are coming to school in first grade and don't know a thing. Like they coming in there, don't know how to read. They don't know their colors. They don't know their letters. They don't know how to write. They're coming in there also not having had any discipline because mom's been working. Or just not non-existent in their lives or whatever. And these kids don't have a sense of discipline. So you're trying to tell a kid who's had no discipline at really 6-7 years old to come sit down for 8 hours? Right. That's not happening. So then the school system gets blamed. I'm not saying the school system couldn't be doing better, because they could in different ways. Right. But at the same time, when parents are working 2 to 3 jobs because the household income is so low, why exactly are we expecting these kids to know how to read when they get to first grade when ain't nobody around them? So the school system is trying to expand free pre-K so they can even at least get kids into preschool where they can learn basic colors and basic math. If a kid goes to first grade and doesn't know how to read, I can guarantee he's going to have the worst rest of his 12 years because that basic foundation is paramount. My son is 6 and he's out reading some of the middle schoolers I know. Like literally, my son, like, he's reading like 4th, 5th grade level. He's only 6, but listening to
King Randall, I want to know, what do you think about the Black family structure? Do you think that if fathers were working and mothers were staying at home, this would alleviate some issues? Like, how do you feel about women, and especially with the rise of feminism, all women, not just Black women, wanting to be in the workplace and everyone wanting to send their children to pre-K or daycare or what have you and outsource their parenting in a way? Do you think that is correlated here?
Absolutely. For one, let's dig into something really quickly I just talked about yesterday, because this is a huge issue, not just on the school system or parents not parenting. For one, when you're in an impoverished area, to be frank, you get crime and you get a lot of children. Because all people have time to do is argue and have sex. That's truly it. Nope. Some people are not working. Some people don't have anything to do, so they just argue and do that all day. So you got a lot of kids coming out and a lot of crime coming out. And most of the crime in impoverished areas is domestic. Like, for example, in Albany, people are like, oh, Albany's crime is so bad and this and that. I'm like, if you pay attention to the crime, it's not random people being shot. It's not random. Like, now, I will say there have been a few situations where somebody random got caught in a crossfire or something or whatever. Sure. But most of the crime is boyfriend and girlfriend, man arguing with woman.
It's not gang related or something like this.
Yeah, and even if it is gang related, it's still domestic. It's still people who know each other trying to do something to the other person. So like a random person that's going to the gas station on the bad side of town is not about to get robbed. Like, like if I go to the worst side of town right now in my coolest car, nobody's about to rob me. I've never had that issue. But people are after folks that they know. Now, granted, sure, people may rob somebody, here and there or whatever like that in bigger cities or whatever. But in most of those impoverished communities, it's all domestic stuff. It's like people who know each other. So when people try to sell that narrative about Albany, for example, yesterday, and I'm just going around, I'll get back to the Black family. Yeah. But for example, yesterday, I'm coaching a baseball team. And we coaching the all-star team. And so I needed to get our players on a bigger baseball field because the all-star team that we were playing for the city over, we were playing on a bigger field. and the only fields that were available for us were the t-ball fields. So I called a friend of mine. He's on the black side of town. He got a black baseball league, majority black kids. And I was like, hey, can we use your pee-wee field? Because we need to use it because it's bigger than the field that we'll be playing on. He's like, yeah, no problem. I sent it out to the group, but some of the parents, didn't want to go on that side of town. They like, oh, well, we don't feel safe going over there. Granted, they've never had any safety issues or whatever, but because of what they've heard or what they think crime is like, I'm like, nothing's going to happen over there. I'm like, I wouldn't bring your kids anywhere. I wouldn't bring mine.
Right.
Because nothing's happening over there. And so the idea and what's not being sold is teaching and telling people that these issues are domestic. So when I go to the black family, we have an issue in our communities where we had this idea that black fathers aren't in the home. And I have
that data came out and it was debunked, etc.
I have to combat even having the data, just speaking in real terms without even speaking numbers.
Yeah.
When you go to a barbershop as a black man, most of us know this. You go to the barbershop and you look around the barbershop. Most men in there got kids. And then most of them don't. I'll say half of the men have kids, half of the men don't.
50-50.
It's 50-50.
Okay.
Most black men actually don't have kids. Almost half of black men don't have children. So let's start there.
Okay.
Then for two, most of those men you see in the barbershop, 70% of them are married and have children, or they are very active in their children's life. Then you have the 1 or 2 men in there who got about 9 kids and about 7 baby mamas.
Okay.
Straight up.
Okay.
And so if we go in that room and have all their moms outside, all the moms of all the kids outside, the loudest moms you're going to hear are the ones talking about how they baby daddies are deadbeat.
Right.
So when you have 100 people screaming and then 10 people screaming, who's going to be louder?
100.
Right. So the idea is that, oh, black men are terrible and they all deadbeat. That's because y'all knew that this man had 5 baby mamas already and you decided to become number 6.
Right.
They will, I'm sorry, but they will blame this man and say, I'm not saying he is absolved of anything. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But if the signs weren't there and he done told you he got 6 baby mamas already and you are not seeing this man with his other children right now,
right,
what made you think to lay down and have raw sex with this man?
Right.
You thought that you're going to blame him. I'm sorry, but if you are baby mama number 6 or number 5, I'm sorry. That is your fault. And that just is what it is. And when we get there, it hurts our community. And then they want to call me and say, hey, can you help my child? Granted, I am going to help him. But then also some of those same parents will get mad if you can't help them. And I'm just like, and it ain't that they're just mad at me. They're frustrated because of the situation. But most black men who take care of their kids, they are around. But my kid's mom ain't out here making no posts saying how great of a father I am. That's my job. She's not gonna go on Father's Day and making no long post about how awesome of a dad I am. We ain't together, but still, like, she's not finna go tell, oh, he's just the best daddy ever. And she will tell you that if you ask.
Right.
She's not out here making no post and saying I'm just fantastic or
so what you're saying is what we see in the shade room is not what's actually happening in real life. So and what we see with all these dating coaches, black dating coaches, the women, the men, they're just they're grifting us because they're saying, on one side, black men ain't no good. On the other side, black women are not wanted. They're not desirable. And, we're difficult. So they prefer to go get, a Colombian who's going to be nicer and easier. So you're saying all of that is just
it's noise,
and it's on social media and it's not reflective of real life.
It's noise and it makes money. Okay. What we're doing is allowing social media to become real life, like these gender wars on social media. I don't like when we go to the barbershop, nobody's in the barbershop talking all this stuff y'all see on Shade Room and on social media.
Right.
There's no gender war happening at the barbershop. Nobody ain't in there talking about how terrible black women are and this and that or whatever. That's all on Twitter or X. That's all on Instagram and Facebook. Nobody's having these conversations in person. I have yet to even to get here. I'm even talking about LGBT stuff. 90% of the time that we've ever discussed LGBT, it was on social media. In person, nobody cares.
Right.
I have yet, even in my Bible Belt type of hometown, nobody cares if you're gay. Nobody cares if you want to dress like a girl. Nobody cares.
Right.
I have yet to see where I live. Now, don't get me wrong. If you have another experience where you live, that's totally fine.
Well, in California, you go to LA, you see the transgender everywhere.
Yeah, you see that. But And to me in person, I have yet to see anybody saying, hey, you shouldn't be wearing that, or hey, why do you want to call yourself a girl, or hey, why do we have to ignore? These conversations are only online.
Right.
I have yet to see it. Most people get along in person. If I see a gay person at the store and they say hello, I'm gonna say what's up, like, and keep moving.
Okay, so that brings me to, what do you think about race relations in America today? I seen that you did the post about who was it, Shiloh Hendricks saying the N-word, and it seems like on Twitter, even in like, I'm a conservative, you're a conservative too, right? It seems like our side is like drumming up another like race relation thing, and you know, I feel the same way you feel. I'm like, in real life, I don't have beef with white people. I have seen here and there, you have a little tit-a-tat maybe, but like everyday life, like white people aren't calling me the N-word and I'm not arguing with white people. But then we get all these videos going viral of Black people doing things to white people and et cetera. So what do you think, where are we today with race relations really?
The race relations, again, are all online for the most part. What these people are doing, even in person, will attribute somebody white being mean to a Black person as racism. And to me, sometimes it's just somebody being a butthole. Like, I'm like, that. Why does that have to be a race thing? Like, why does this have to be he's being mean because he's Black? Or vice versa, Black people or white people will find some video of a Black person being mean to a white person. They're like, oh, it's because of race. I'm like, or they were just two humans who were having, an issue or whatever. But so now, the idea and the grift online is, obviously everybody makes money from drama. So that's all you see is just drama, 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 from the major conservatives to the major liberals. Everybody just posts drama, 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 because they just want to get paid. They don't actually care about changing the community. And that's why I made that post on social media the other day on Twitter. I made the post and was just like, white people should be able to say the N-word and blah, 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 because I wanted to show them how hypocritical you actually are. And I used it to fundraise for our organization. But I'm like, this is where we are. Y'all care more about being able to say the N-word or who can't say the N-word, or caring more about the Carmelo kid case or whatever like that or whatever, versus actual change in your communities. Or y'all will rather watch and give to people who are antagonizing folks at college campuses and then talking about you trying to encourage them to come to the other side, but you're antagonizing them. You're talking trash to them. This is not how you encourage people to come to your side. But it's all just for clicks. And that's how they get paid. They're making thousands of dollars because all you want to watch is people talk about issues and talk about things that you want to hear, versus people that are actually trying to make moves in said community. You cannot show me how going to a college and antagonizing folks is actually helping the community. You explain that to me. I have yet to see where you change somebody's minds and now the whole college is in your mind frame now. And then after you do that, then what? You just got some more votes. That's voting is not what solely changes the community, red or blue. You have to get out and actually do something. And so what people do is they'll watch these podcasts and give to those podcasts, or give to these, influencers who are online being clown shows or minstrel shows. They're giving to them because they feel like that's their duty. They've done something to help. That's not helping. That's not helping at all. You're actually hurting because you're encouraging them to continue doing the BS that's truly not helping. So that's where we are. The race relations now is just all online. Like, I tell people all the time, and I bet they're gonna call me a coon for this, but I interact with people all the time from no matter the race, don't care, or whatever. And the most pushback I've ever received was from my community or whatever. Now, granted, I do have a ton of Black people that support what I do, and I'm wholly I love Black people, just straight up, but my community has also given me the most pushback too. But I have to deal with them in that way. I understand that when I'm dealing with Black people, they don't like when people get successful. They don't like when people get famous. They don't like when people, are doing more than they could be doing. It's just an ego thing. I understand it. I know how to deal with us. But also, I understand that all white people are not racist. I'm not out here. I've still yet to run into any white people that just like, oh, we hate what you're doing, because like people get mad because we got white donors. I'm just like, well, what you want me to tell them? Like, what you want me to tell them? They don't
donate because you're white.
Right? You can't donate to our organization. Well, so then they'll use this. Well, you must not be teaching the right thing, because how could they possibly donate to a Black organization? I'm like, bro, we're just teaching kids the right thing.
Right.
And I'm sorry that y'all think that white people don't know how to do the right thing or don't believe in the right thing, but many of them do. And I'm like, on top of that, for you guys talking about reparations and all this stuff like that, why are you upset that white people are donating to a Black organization? I don't understand it. Even when we first...
What is your stance on reparations?
Hey, we get it, we don't. We keep moving, but I'm not finna sit here and people are waiting on that. I'm not doing that. If people get reparations, great. If we don't, fantastic.
Do you believe Black people are owed reparations?
I ain't did enough research on that to really just dig into that conversation. I don't feel like I'm owed anything. That's just how I was raised. I believe in going to get what it is that I want.
Yeah.
I have not been stopped from doing anything. And people will say, "Oh, we got it harder." Okay, cool. We'll work harder. I mean, if these are the cards I'm dealt, if I'm playing spades and I get a set of cards, I cannot complain about the cards I got. Those are the cards I got. I have to make do with what I got. I got to get as many books as I can.
Right.
And the best way to play spades is with a partner. So you find other people to help you or whatever, do what you're doing. But when we all trying to play by ourselves, we lose. So I have people to help me. Like I have staff members, I have, et cetera, et cetera. I have people to assist me or whatever. So, I mean, yeah, terrible things have happened without question. But I think that's owed to people who actually went through that stuff. And on top of that, I know a lot of it has trickled down and some of it does affect, what we have going on today. And if we can prove that without a shadow of a doubt, then if we can make that happen in some way, sure. But for me, I'm just solely working in the community until that happens. But we got people who won't do anything because they just like, oh, nah, we just gonna wait for reparations and we deserve reparations. I don't need to do nothing because we gonna wait for reparations. I'm just like, that's stupid. I'm like, so you just gonna sit here and let your whole life pass by because you waiting for reparations? Like,
right.
No, I don't believe in that. But I tell people, like, for example, I had an interaction the other day at the gas station with this older white gentleman. He was cool. Or whatever like that. And I was at the gas station, I was getting some gas and we was just talking, we was just running our mouths. Cool guy. He invited me to come by his church or whatever because he had recognized me or whatever. He's like, man, if you could come by the church, or something like that and whatever. And cool guy. I leave, he got a Confederate flag on his truck or whatever like that. But they mean nothing to me.
Right.
People will see a Confederate flag. Oh my God, they're so racist. Some of the people that I've met, white people that had Confederate flags, they love it. These are I would think these people would give me a shirt off their back.
Wow.
Because they super cool. Like, they just like, what you need? Like, we here to help you or whatever like that. Even when I first started my organization, and this is when I was advertising only Black children. Now, I help all kids. But at the time, when I first started, I was only doing Black boys, just straight, only Black kids.
So currently you help all demographics.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what are the ages?
Right now it's ages 7 to 9.
7 to 9.
We're doing 11 to 17. But when we first started.
And when you were focusing on Black children, is that because where you live in Albany, it's predominantly Black, or there's other races as well, like whites, Mexicans? I don't know.
Yeah, we're a 77% African American town.
Okay, 70.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's heavily.
Yeah,
Black.
so even though I do service all children now, we still get mostly Black children come to our program. We do have we've had white children and stuff or whatever, but for the most part, they're all Black. But when I first started, we were only Black. I advertised only Black.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, white people were still giving. They're like, listen, we don't care that you're not accepting. Like, we just love to see that somebody's trying to help, children.
Yeah.
And so, but that's what my tune.
Did you get any pushback for only Black from Black people or white people or any?
No,
okay.
I wasn't. I didn't get pushback until I started accepting other kids. When I started accepting other kids, that's when Black people was like, oh, you don't need to accept, white or Black kids. I'm like, bro, like, these kids are going to have to interact with white people. They're going to have to interact with Mexican people.
Why did you choose to accept other children?
Well, originally, I used to hate white people because of social media, to be frank with you.
Okay.
I was 16, 17 on social media, and I'm just seeing all this stuff about white people all the time and looking at all these memes about slavery and this and that. So at a point, I hated white folks. I hated white people. Mm-hmm. It took, like, when we got invited to the White House by Donald Trump, and this was when I was still an all-Black program at the time. Trump invited us to the White House when he saw some work we was doing on Twitter or whatever like that. And we was doing some work, teaching some kids.
Wait, when you got invited by Trump, did you still hate white people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, I everything shifted when I was there because what I was told wasn't what I experienced.
Mm-hmm.
When I got there, it was all love. Nobody was asking me if I supported Trump. Nobody asked me about no Republican stuff. Everybody was just like, how can we support what you're doing? Like, this is cool, like, type deal. Everybody, and I'm just like, why are these white people, like, even when people started following me and stuff, like, I'm like, why are these white people following my page? Like, like,
yeah,
y'all supposed to be racist. Like, stop. You're not supposed to be following me or nothing like that. And it's just all love. Like, people sending, I'm talking about people sending gifts in the mail, everything. It's just like, man, we love what you doing. Like, this is fantastic. And that's when I was advertising Only Black. And one of the first people to ever give to our organization, he's in our hometown. Everybody hates his guts. I won't call his name on the podcast.
Okay.
But he was the
He's white?
Yeah, he's a white guy.
Okay.
But when I was advertising Only Black, he called me to his office and he was just like, listen, I don't care about you doing Only Black kids. He's like, I just love to see that somebody's trying to help these children here in the city of Albany. And he donated for us to be able to go on our first field trip.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And that shocked me because I'm just like, okay. And I was trying to get support from Black people like as much as possible. I'm like, listen, I'm helping our kids. Folks got everything to say. How you 19 and you trying to help boys be men and this and that and blah, 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 blah. I mean, just all this.
They weren't catching
chatter.
the vision.
Yeah. And boy, when I got invited to the White House, or my hometown thrashed me like I hadn't been working with kids for a few years already. They're like, why would you take them kids to the White House? And Donald Trump this and blah, blah, blah. Why would you take them kids? I mean, they thrashed me for a while. People hated me for a good little while in my hometown.
For having children having the experience to go to the White House?
Oh, they hated me for a while for that. Yeah.
Wow.
But granted, I've built, more rapport in the city so people understand. I've told them I'm going to maneuver around whoever's in whatever seat. These people work for us. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat.
Right.
I'm going to talk to Senator John Ossoff. He's a Democrat. And I'm going to talk to President Trump and whoever's in the office in wherever districts I am. Don't care. We're going to talk to them because they work for us and we want to know what it is that you could do to help us. That's what I believe in. Don't care who it is.
Do you think, at least in the city of Albany, one party is better for the city that has better policies? Do you think Democratic policies or Republican policies are better in terms of all of the issues that you're seeing, even how it trickles down to local government?
All I'm going to say, because I don't have a direct answer to that, because most of our leadership is a nonpartisan seats.
Okay.
However, I will say the senators and the state representatives, etc., that have ran our city for the past so many years have all been Democrat.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. And we can infer how we would like to infer.
That's all I said was they've been Democrat when our city is in turmoil right now.
Okay, I got it. What's the number one issue young Black boys are facing?
I don't think they have a number one issue, but I'm definitely going to say literacy as being one of the first issues.
You give me a top three.
Top three, literacy, and literacy.
Okay.
Those are going to be the top three. Our kids are behind in a way that people truly don't understand. We getting kids in the program, and I mean, they in school 6th, 7th grade and cannot read cat dog. I am serious.
Really?
These kids cannot write. Yes, they cannot write. They cannot read. They cannot talk. And if they are reading, they are sounding out what they're reading, but they're not comprehending what it is that they're reading. I don't think people truly understand where we are right now, just in the country with our kids. I'm like, go talk to I tell people, go talk to a regular high school kid right now, just in a Black neighborhood. Just go talk to them. Just listen to where their brains are. Their brains are just, you don't know what they're talking about. They don't know how to talk to you. They're scared to look at you. Like, it's just, I don't know what's happening, but it's terrible. And it's, I don't know, but our men definitely in our community is going to have to step up in order to be able to save our boys, because community is going to go where the men go. Yeah. And we definitely got to step up. And I don't make excuses, like, because people tell me, well, I'm not working with nobody kids. I ain't nobody's stepdaddy. They should have chose a better baby daddy. I ain't saying they shouldn't have. Right. I mean, I'm just gonna just let the community look like this. I'm sorry they keep having kids with bad baby daddies. I'm sorry about that, but that ain't gonna stop me from helping these kids. Like, I still want to help them. They still need to be saved. So maybe next go round, they could be a better, dad to their kids, and they could be a better human. Yeah, these changes are going to take place in 10 to 15 years, but I'm not selfish. Sure, I believe, in helping, myself first. Don't get me wrong, but I also believe in helping my community first. I'm not saying I'm trying to, do this big thing for the whole Black community, but at a point, my kids got to grow up in Albany, Georgia. They got to live there. Right. So as much as I can affect the people and affect the community, I am. Because that kid I might help might be the kid that might not shoot my son one day. You know, so like, I'm wholly helping the community, because I don't know who I might run into or come into contact with. We just had a situation a little while ago where we had a child, his parent didn't tell us about one of the ailments he had mentally or whatever. They didn't disclose the information. So we had a situation where the kid ran off from the school building, and one of our staff members went to go, chase him or whatever like that, trying to get him. But we have so much respect in that neighborhood. My staff members had just started, like literally had just started at the building. We had somebody pull a gun on one of my staff members because he thought he was doing something to one of the ex-boys. He like, hey, who are you? Like, what are you doing? And he like, bro, like I'm with the program. Like he got a shirt on. He like, nah, bro, I'm with the ex-boys. Like, just chill.
Yeah.
And even though it was a scary situation, the respect that we built in that neighborhood speaks volumes.
Yeah.
We don't have nobody bother us over there. We leave stuff outside. We got this big open window door. We in the projects. Don't nobody bother us over there. Why? We done fed that community. We done helped that community. We done helped them kids over there, etc. It's whole respect over there. So even though it wasn't the ideal situation, that speaks volumes because I know somebody is watching out for our kids, even if I'm not around.
Right.
Like that spoke a lot to me. And even to the staff member, like he was like, bro, I'm straight. Like he was like, I'm good, man. But he was just like, that's crazy. He was like, this man really pulled a gun on me because he thought I was trying to hurt one of your kids.
Yeah.
Like, but that spoke a lot. And so that's what I mean by building relationship in community, because being a conservative for other folks, y'all get shunned because you don't be outside. Right. That's your problem. Y'all like, oh, if I say I'm conservative, I'm gonna be called a coon. I've gotten called a coon less and less by my community because I am outside. Right. They're willing to listen to me now and what I have to say because I'm out there with them. You know who ain't out there with them? The blue side. They ain't. Sorry, they just not outside with them. And even if they are, they ain't affecting as much changes as I am. So these people are willing to listen to me now. They're just like, so King Randall, what you think? Like, so why do you think like that? Because you always with us, you always helping us. They're asking questions and willing to listen. I'm not going to their neighborhood with no table and telling them to ask me questions and then debunking them and then making them mad, and I ain't doing that. Right. I'm actually trying to do stuff to aid them and help them in their community and actually help them out of their situations. And they wanting to know how they do that. So now people in Albany have developed hope in me now. It's not this whole, so like the last time we just went to the White House again, just last month, but it was all love when we went this time. Nobody was mad at us. Nobody
went up there. Trump was there. No, they were okay.
And then even if people was upset, they shut their mouths about it because they understand like, all right, we ain't have to agree with that, but he out here working, you know, for these kids, and these kids was able to get a trip that other kids don't be able to get in Albany.
How do you take care of your boys mentally? I seen a video of you talking about sexual abuse and molestation and how those things happen, that you believe those things happen to boys more often than girls. It's just boys don't speak about it. And you even had a student come to the school and talk about what happened to him. So how do you navigate that on like an emotional level with the child, on, I guess, even on like reporting for, I guess, child abuse? Like how does all of that, how do you work that out with your students?
In that arena, I have to have, you know, female staff around.
Okay.
Being completely honest with you, I don't know how to just approach that situation other than get a therapist and a counselor when I find out said situation happens. All I know is that, you know, we still got to keep working. We still got to keep moving. I'm not one of the people to sit around and dwell on certain things, but I do like have to be there for them. And I also have to have somebody there for them. But when I've said that, in my fire about it, I've said that, you know, I think it happens to boys more than girls. I say that with no data. I can't back it up because, you know, nobody's saying nothing. Yeah. However, it's so many men, because when we hear sexual molestation, we think about a man doing something to a boy. No, I'm talking about older women being predators to children and teenage boys. This happens often. And the reason boys don't say nothing, like for example, and this ain't data, but I see it all the time. These guys are on Twitter, you know, talking about, you know, when they lost their virginity and stuff. And most of these guys, I'm talking about like thousands of comments. These guys like, oh yeah, I was 13, but she was like 20, and I was 12 and she was 27, and man, like I became a man. But they think it's okay, like they think it's all right. But if the roles were reversed, it would be a completely different situation or whatever. But men, they think it's cool, or because it didn't hurt them. Like when you think of rape and molestation, you think of pain, you think of hurt and crying and stuff. Right. For a boy, that felt fantastic. You're like, what was that? Like, let's do it again. Like, right. You know, but you don't know you was violated or whatever like that until you become an adult or whatever. But by that time, I mean, that ain't no statistic anymore. Versus a girl, you know, a young girl, obviously that is going to be pain and stuff like that, you know, for her and stuff. It's a completely different situation. So it doesn't register as trauma for us. It's not registered as trauma until somebody tells us it's trauma, right, or whatever. It didn't register as no major life event that was supposed to hurt me. Like, it was a major life event, but you ain't thinking of it like that until somebody says something like, oh, dang, I was violated.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
But there are symptoms. Like, I think that, like, even in my dating experience with men who are like overly sexual and things like this, I think women, we just assume like, oh, he's a man and that's why he's overly sexual. And it's like, no, he probably was touched. There's no reason for him to be this overly sexual and want to sleep with this many women and all of these things. But we've kind of made it like cool in the culture, like with music and different things, to be like, oh, well, like, this is how men operate and it's normal. And so sometimes those are like the symptoms of the trauma, even though it's never registered. They just think it's cool to sleep with a bunch of girls and to want to always sleep with a bunch of girls, to watch a bunch of porn. And they don't see it that it's because of what happened to them in their childhood.
Yeah. And then also it's very key for people to take care of themselves mentally before they have children. There's been many studies shown that even just mannerisms and things can be passed down through DNA. Like, for example, my father, my biological dad, he wasn't always around all the time. I've had interactions with him, whenever I could. My mom made sure we didn't have a bad relationship. But my biological dad, when I go around him right now, we didn't spend a whole lot of time growing up, but we act the exact same way. We walk the same, we laugh the same, we talk the same. We say certain words the same way, we move our heads in the same way in certain mannerisms. Like, we do everything the same way.
Yeah.
And my brother, my younger brother, I started raising him when he was like 12, 13. He's like 19 now. He spent even less time with my dad. My brother and I act just alike. I didn't really come back into his life till he was 13, but we move our heads in the same way. We say certain things the same way. We laugh the same way. Like, that stuff was passed down. Like, you cannot tell me it ain't true, because those mannerisms are there. Like, just from how I stand up. I met my biological grandfather for the first time like 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't even know he was alive or existed or anything. My mom found him for me, and he was here in Miami, and I came to meet him. My mom said when she pulled up to that house and he was sitting on the porch, she was like, I knew immediately who that man was, because he stood just like you and your dad. She's like, he's standing just like you. He talked like y'all. Y'all move your eyes in the same way. Y'all say things the same way. She was like, that was your granddad without question. No need. Now, of course, he looked like us when we really got up, to him or whatever. But it was crazy to see that, because I'm just like, man, even my mom, I spent a lot of time with her, but I listen to myself when I am parenting my kids. I literally hear my mom when I'm talking to my children. Like, I would hear when she said something to me, or I would hear a mannerism she made, or a way I might move my hand, or like when I'm doing something, I'll stick my tongue out and like bite my lip. But my mom does the same thing. But I've always noticed my mom has always done that her whole life. When my mom's trying to do something, like pick something up, she always like sticks her tongue out and like bites her lip, trying to, I do the same thing and not even noticing it, So I always say, those studies are real. Like, stuff is passed down through DNA. So even going back to slavery, we were forced, to be extremely sexual. They made us do stuff with family members and everything. And so when we dig into like Black family trauma, like from why is it a lot of Black family incest? Because the whole thing is like only white people do the incest thing. I'm like, bro, you ain't being honest with yourself, bruh. And you're not. I'm like, most Black families got this Black hidden trauma, or grandmama didn't tell anybody that uncle touched auntie, or grandmama brother was dealing with her granddaughter for 10 years, and it just never talked about it at the family reunion. Everybody just have to stay away from Uncle James. Like, just
don't sit on his lap. Like, don't eat by him. Don't
get by
over
him,
there.
versus beating his behind and sending his butt to jail.
Right.
Like, like that's what it's supposed to happen. But it's just like, nah, just don't go by your uncle. Y'all know how you don't send nobody else. Y'all don't go to Uncle James' house. He better not, don't do that, but versus him being reprimanded.
Right.
I promise you, it ain't finna be no Uncle James situations with my kids. I promise you it's not.
Right.
Somebody head gonna get chopped off. This ain't finna be no hidden family thing and everybody knew about it and didn't say nothing. And it's just,
speaking of accountability in the Black community, I often, going back to this conversation of like dating and marriage, and how they say, oh, Black men ain't no good, Black women are not no good, etc. So I get asked often, because I date outside of my race as well. Well, I'm Jewish, so I date Jewish, but we all come in different races. There's Black Jews, white Jews, etc. So people will say, oh, well, do you think this race are better than Black men or something like this? And I say, I don't think any race is inherently better than the other race when it comes to men. However, I do believe that there are cultures that are better.
Correct.
Because, for example, I live in Israel, and there's a certain community culture in the Jewish community. If my husband were to cheat on me, he would have public shame, public humility. Like, the community will respond in a way where he would think about not cheating on me, or really trying to not get caught. Like,
Sure.
there would be reprimanding. Do you think culturally, in the Black culture, that we need to, I guess, set more repercussions for certain behaviors? Like, I feel like we don't have a system where you would be shamed if you had 5 baby mamas.
Man, we used to.
We don't really have a system set in place for domestic violence anymore. Where there's communal shame, there's a communal counseling to say,
Yeah, or the family got onto you about something, or grandmama told you ain't had no business doing whatever. Like,
yes.
It include the law, but it got handled.
Yeah, it's not a law. It's our community saying, because you behave like this, we're shaming you. We're putting shame on you, guilt on you, and you cannot participate in the community in the same way anymore until you fix this thing.
Yep, you will have discipline. That's something I believe should come back, because family used to be that. Like, you can go around grandmama and say X, Y, Z. And you sure weren't finna be at the family reunion doing X, Y, Z.
Right.
You was not about to be around your aunties doing whatever. Your uncles weren't finna have you doing X, Y, Z. You weren't finna be doing nothing stupid.
Right.
Especially having, like, and even again, if you're gonna be having, because everybody lives a different life. I'm not opposed to people having multiple baby moms or whatever like that. My thing is, are you taking care of your children? Or are you taking care of those women? If you are gonna have 3, 4, 5 baby mamas, every last one of them need to be taken care of, and every last one of them need to be straight, the kids and everything.
Right.
Because you have a duty to them now.
Right.
You impregnated them and they had your kids. You have a duty to them. Like, I'm not with my kid's mom at all.
Yeah.
But no matter what, she still wants for nothing. Because I feel that's still my duty. We don't bother with each other. I don't talk to her. We don't get down like that.
Right.
But I cannot not make sure she's okay. If something goes wrong with her car or something like that, I just got to do it. Like, that's a bed that I made, and I have to lay in it.
Right.
Same thing, with my my youngest son. He has a different mom, but even with her, she had to understand my first kids. She gonna be taken care of, and I'm sorry, that's something honest I gotta say at the beginning.
Yeah.
She has to be taken care of because that is a duty and a bed that I made.
Right.
So if we're gonna be walking around here with multiple baby mom and stuff, ain't nobody finna be wanting for nothing. You need to make sure you financially stable to take care of all your children, etc. That's where I am with that.
Okay.
Especially if you're not married or whatever like that, because everybody lives a different life. Relationships are different. Everybody has different religions, etc. My whole thing is make sure you taking care of who in your circle. Period.
Right.
Married or not, take care of who is in your circle. If you decide you don't want to get married and you just want to have a live-in girlfriend, take care of who is in your circle. That's what I believe in. Be a good man.
Yeah.
That's because nobody, like my kid's mom would never tell you I'm a bad guy or nothing. She's like, nah, like we still good. Like, we had our marriage issues when we were divorced or whatever like that, but I ain't gonna say nothing bad. Like, other than that, he's still gonna make sure stuff is straight, because that's my duty until she's married again. And I'm not saying I like fully just paying for hair and nails. Absolutely not. I'm just saying
that's part of being taken care of. What you talking about, King?
As long as the lights is on and the car note paid and stuff like that is fine, cool. But you still
that's a real struggle. The hair and the nails and the toes.
I ain't your husband
and
no more. No. But I will make way for you to still, like, it ain't like I still don't make way to make sure she has a job or make sure her platform is okay or whatever she's doing, whatever she's trying to do, I will support or whatever like that. But I'm obviously I'm not your husband anymore, so I'm not doing husband deals anymore.
Right.
But other than that, we still taken care of. So that's where I'm still respected in that area. Like, nobody's gonna be like, oh, you got 2 baby moms or whatever like that. So
yeah,
it's respected because they're taken care of. I make sure they're okay.
King, what do you think is something positive you could share about the Black community in terms of our strength, our story, our communities? I think a lot of times, especially online, especially in the conservative circles, a lot of Black people, Black conservatives rise by attacking the Black community. And I'm a person that says, listen, I'm Black and I'm Jewish. I'm critical of both communities, but I'm very positive about both communities. And I love to interact with like very intellectual Black men like yourself to showcase that we have very intellectual Black men in our communities and not always highlighting the bad. So what would you highlight that's so great about the Black community?
Oh man. I'm a big history buff. My big thing is highlighting what our families used to be and how we used to be years ago. I mean, I'm not talking about you know, present day. I think there's a lot that needs to be fixed right now to the point where I don't have a whole lot positive to say right now
about present day.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
and that's just
that's fair.
That's being honest. There are not a lot of men like me. There are not a lot of people trying to help our community right now. And when I say a lot, I'm sure it's hundreds of guys like me, but I mean by the millions.
Right.
There's millions of other Black people that do need assistance. And right now, our community's in a state where we're swayed by social media. We're swayed by Gen Pop. We're swayed by whatever people are saying. Like, we are so easy right now. And that's just being honest. We're easy on both sides. We're easy on the conservative side. We're easy on the liberal side. We're easily swayed. We don't do our own research on anything, nothing. And so that's something that has to get fixed. But my praise comes from where our grandparents stood and how strong they were in their own beliefs. Granted, they ain't have social media to keep swaying them every day, because
Right.
you'll have an opinion today and then see something tomorrow and change your opinion.
Right.
But our grandparents, they will stick to what they believe. They don't care what you share with them. They don't care how many times you prove to them.
Right.
They don't care how many facts you try to bring. This is what they believe. And to a point, even though it is appropriate sometimes to change our mind about certain things, it is more beneficial. Well, it had been more beneficial for them to keep their mind frames the same.
Right.
No matter what was going on around them, they kept their mind frames in strength to maintain their families. And that's how families were maintained back in the day, by people sticking to what they believed, not social media swaying you, or especially marriages. Please don't get me started on what is happening with marriages and relationships right now, because everybody has to have this fairy tale that everybody's seeing on social media. It's like nobody can live their own marriage and live their own life, because you just have to tell everybody, and everybody just has to know what's going on. And I just gotta share what's going on. Nobody don't know nothing about my personal life, because I don't share. I don't care for you to know what's going on in my
Are you
personal life.
secretly married, King Randall?
Nobody knows. You won't know how many. You won't know how many more kids I got. You won't know if I'm married. You won't know. That ain't nobody's business.
You're keeping that private.
Yes, and for a reason, because when you get to a level like this, people start trying to attack your family. People start trying to look for what you got going on. Nothing. All you're going to see is the Expo Boy, and you may see me and my son sharing our sports videos, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as more kids I may be having or whatever, you won't know. You just may see 2 more kids in like 5 years. Like, where did they come from? Ain't none of your business. Like, it's just my life that I'm living.
So would you encourage people who have a platform, or maybe they don't have a platform, but they're just on social media, to be more private about their private life?
I would encourage everybody to be more proud about their private life. I don't understand the need to share everything like, you got to share that you going out to eat. You got to share that you got your hair did. You got to share it. For what? Like, I don't understand why we have to do that. Or they just need the validation of everybody seeing it. Like, we can't even go outside for a walk without, hey, y'all, we out here as a family today with our dog. I'm like, or can you just enjoy
what kind of advice would you give to women who, they feel insecure a little bit, and this is why they're sharing so much, right? Or they want to dig into especially, like, say someone's dating you, you're King Randall, they think a lot of women are probably in your DMs, etc. So now she's feeling a little insecure, and she's like, I got to dig through the comments. I want to dig through his DMs, and I would feel more secure if people knew he was with me, So what do you want to say to, like, those women who are like, have that insecurity of, like, if they're dating someone who has a platform like yourself, then like, just be private and don't worry about if I'm cheating on you or not. You just have to take it with, like, take my word that I'm not.
Go date a regular guy. Simple. That's my. I tell people all the time, it's like people want a successful man and this and that or whatever, but you can't deal with what comes with it. And that comes with a lot of attention, a lot of people looking at them, a lot of people saying stuff, like dealing with rumors, etc.
Yes.
In order to save yourself, it would behoove you to play your butt in the back.
Yeah,
I just saw a video earlier. It was like Republican men, they keep their wives in check. The Republican president, they was like, George Bush then was president forever. We don't even remember their wife's name. Like, you don't even know what they was doing. They was like, Melania ain't even got no Facebook. But sis just out here just waving and looking cute or whatever. Like, but you can't get Michelle Obama to stop complaining about Barack.
Right.
All she doing is, it didn't wash the dishes and he didn't want to help me with the kids and he was out golfing. Ma'am, he was the president of the United States. Shut up. Like, you don't see no other first ladies with no podcast. You don't see no other first ladies out here running their mouth and doing this and that. Embarrassing your husband. I ain't gonna say that, but you don't want to do that.
Right.
You don't want to do that, and I don't like that. And a man, I wouldn't want to deal with that. Like, I'm the president, and you talking about you can't show up to no event with me because of your feelings today. And I'm like, listen, sweetie.
As someone with a platform, would you have an issue dating a woman who also has a platform? Or would you like to date someone who's not in the public space or public eye at all?
I actually wouldn't mind dating somebody with a platform, or being in the public space. I wouldn't mind that because we both got something to lose now. It's very important to be with people who have something to lose, especially when you have a platform. And then on top of that,
that's interesting. I like this advice. Okay, keep going.
On top of that, you don't want to find anyone while you're you now. I would never date anybody new. If I'm dating somebody, it's because I already knew them. I would never, no matter what, you couldn't convince me to date anybody new unless they had like some major platform. The reason I say that is because if I'm dating somebody new, would you have dated me before I was King Randall?
Right.
That's my question. Would you have dated me when everybody was calling me by the second part of my first name? Would you have dated me then? You know, whatever. So that's what I want to know.
Okay.
So people that I know, or people who aren't impressed with me and didn't know me. If you don't know me and aren't impressed with me, I can talk to you.
Yes.
Because now you get to discover who I am.
Yes.
Like that. That's important to me. But I can't date nobody who.
I love that you're saying that so much.
Nope.
I actually have a little bit of pushback of dating someone else with a platform, just because I had a recent experience dating going on a date with an influencer who's in my same space, etc. And I'm very private. And, you know, he was like, oh, are you going to share, you know, what I created for you? Because he made this beautiful date for me. And I said, no, I want to keep it private.
Yeah.
It didn't work out between us. We had a date and then we figured we're not going to move forward. But then he went and told all the other influencer friends that, oh, I took Ashira Solomon out. And like, whatever, it's fine. We just had a date. But to me, I'm like, no, I want it to be private.
Like, why are you?
So I find that like dating someone with a public platform is also hard because you don't know.
It is.
And his platform is way bigger than mine. But you don't know if they want to date you because they want to create a content piece, or they want to create a scene, or they just want to be attached to your name in some way. So I almost think dating I'm regular, but you know, dating someone who doesn't have any type of public facing might be easier, no?
So yes, but I'm gonna bring a caveat to dating somebody with dating an influencer.
Okay.
For one, even in your same space, you just have to feel people.
Right.
Cause I ain't finna date any girl that conservative influencer.
Right.
Who are you? Like, I want to know who you are. Like, and then when I say, you telling other people, like, would you be embarrassed to share anything too? Like, cause I can tell when somebody wouldn't care about somebody knowing something versus somebody that would care about people knowing about their private life. It's just like, you just have to kind of just feel people. Yeah. I think you can. Like, if I'm a date influencer, I just got to know that you don't want to be embarrassed either. Like you don't want nobody sharing nothing about you. You don't want nobody
that they're also equally private.
Yes.
Then you're like, okay, then you can date someone.
You can tell an influencer that's posting all their personal, like, hey y'all, I'm out of here. Or, I'm out of town. Like being here. I hadn't posted a thing. Right. I ain't posted no story. I'm on the flight.
I was like, is he here yet? Or is he still coming out to movies in Miami yet?
Look at my hotel. I'm in the Uber. Like I don't understand folks. Like, they gotta record the Uber driver putting the bag in the car.
Right.
They gotta record them getting in the car, and I'm just like, you know what irritates me so bad? I'm a giant
influencers right now.
It irritates me because I'm an influencer that don't have to do that. Like,
right.
What my camera guy, he's sitting right here, right?
Right.
But his sole job is just to record my life.
Yes.
And he records if we posting or not. It'd be days where we go 6-7 days without posting anything, but we recorded hours of stuff, and it's not really for content.
Right.
It only records because I have a thing with my mom where my mom didn't record many home videos or take many pictures growing up. But she shared with me when I grew up that she didn't do that because she said my grandma was traumatized her with that growing up. She was like, my grandma forced her to take pictures all the time and forced her to do videos and forced her to do all this stuff. So she didn't want to do that to me. But for me, I didn't like that because I don't have no old football videos, no old videos of me playing the drums, no old videos of all this stuff I learned how to do, welding and working on cars and painting cars. Like I don't have no proof of any of that. All I can do is tell you, and I remember it. And that kind of hurts a little bit. I'm like, dang, like I wish I had all that. So for me, the trauma from that was I have a video guy that is on staff who records every single thing that I do.
But it's going to be for your home videos.
It's for me.
Yeah.
And so
and your children.
Yes. And so like when my kids have children growing up, I'm going to be able to go in the vault when he's having a moment trying to figure out what to do with his son. I'm going to be able to go in the vault from when he was 8 years old. And I'm like, listen, this is what I did when you did that. Send him a video of it. And so he can do that with his son. And now maybe one day, I don't know what I may become. I might become cool and somebody might want to buy this footage one day. Like that. But even then, I have all this footage because I want to show my kids, what we're doing. But that's why I record. Other than that, when people see moments of me and my kids online, most of it is just raw moments. Those moments that have went viral with me and my sons, those were literal raw moments that the camera just happened to be there. Because I parent the same way when you see the camera and when it ain't there. I parent the same exact way. Anybody will tell you that. I'm still strict. I still, do certain things with them. But people enjoy seeing that traditional dad. And people have something to say about it, but you don't see that no more. Like people try to compare me and Jason Wilson, and we both have different styles of parenting.
Yeah.
Granted, I love Jason Wilson. I think what he does is fantastic, but I also think that we are two different people.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in solely like just the complete softness and the complete crying and the complete, I don't know. I don't believe in that. No, we like, for example, and he actually commented on a video that I did with my son the other day with him boxing. It went like mega viral. Snoop Dogg shared it, everything. But I know he wouldn't have handled the situation like I did, but he also, respected what he saw. But we handled it completely different. My son came to me crying because the boxing coach hit him with the foam. It was like a little foam pool noodle.
Oh, I see. I seen this video. Yeah.
And he cried because it didn't hurt him or nothing like that. He was just upset that it happened.
Yeah.
Because his coach was trying to tell him to listen. But he came to me crying. Now I understand that Jason would have, maybe gave him a hug and picked him up and gave him a kiss and okay, let's talk about it. No, I was just like, do you know what you're crying about?
Yeah, I know. I see that you just sit there.
Okay,
well, go back.
Figure out why you crying, then come talk to me about it.
Yeah.
So he came up to me and he still didn't know. He said, okay, run again. You're going to figure out why you're crying. We're not going to cry for no reason.
Right.
Like, talk to me. Like we're going to problem solve.
Right.
Like, we're not going to just be sad and not trying to figure it out. I just don't believe in that. And that's okay. Like, and I think it's proper to cry. Like my grandfathers both just passed away on the same day last month. I cried, at the lowering of the casket or whatever like that into the ground and stuff. I cried for a bit, but I also understood, all right, cool. He cried. I cried and I understand what happened. Yeah, it was sad, but I still got stuff to do. And I know my grandfathers would not want me sitting around moping just because they died. Like, okay, they passed away. I understood they weren't gonna live forever, and we keep moving. Like, and that's just where I am. Like, I still have stuff to do, and I felt stronger. Like after I accepted it, like I'm like, all right, let's go. Now I want to live in y'all name now. Like now I want to make sure that what y'all shared with me and I carry really sticks out now. Like I really want to do it. Like,
what's one thing you think all parents should do? Just say, I know there's tons of different parenting styles, but what's like maybe one or two fundamental things that you think every parent should be doing?
Sure. I get a lot of first-time dads actually DM me questions about raising sons. Well, not even just first. I have like grown adult men with grown children ask me stuff all the time. My big thing for new dads, when they ask me when should I start disciplining my son, I'm like, when they turn 1. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, because a child understands right from wrong that early. They start really understanding about 10 months.
Define what you mean by discipline.
Discipline, like telling them no,
okay,
and giving them consequences at 1.
Okay.
Because they understand at that age right from wrong. They know already. Like my 1-year-old son, now he turns 1 in a few days. When he turns 1, like now he knows when I say no, that means no. Or he'll look when he know he ain't got no business doing something. They already know.
Yeah.
Start disciplining they butt then. Ain't nothing cute no more.
Right.
What parents like to do is, oh my God, that's so cute, all the way until they like 7 or 8. And then want to send them to some camp or something to discipline them because you decided that you want to be their friend all the way till they was 8, 9 years old. Or maybe even 10 or 11. I got people like, oh, your son shouldn't be training this much, or this and that, or you shouldn't, he cry. You should just give him a hug and go take him to get some ice cream and this and that. I'm like, no. He's going to be an adult one day. He's going to be an adult a lot longer than he's going to be a child.
Right.
I have to prepare him for that. I'm not saying we don't ever have fun. And of course, I only share the rough moments because that's what everybody has something to say about. But we have fun all the time.
Right,
He has to go practice. He loves to go hit. He loves to go do this stuff. But of course, I only share the moments where he did something wrong.
Right.
And so when he does something wrong, I discipline him. And he just should only be worried about having fun at this age. No. If you are out there on that field, and you do something wrong to the point where it wasn't a mistake, yes, I'm going to get on you because you know better. You know what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And so he has this thing where sometimes he'll put out and sometimes he won't. Sometimes he'll go really hard and then sometimes he'll go 90%. And I'm like, no, you need to do your best every single time because that one time you did 90%, it could shift things. And so what I heard Brother Nur Muhammad say on a podcast with Cam Newton the other day, he said that white people put their kids in sports to learn the camaraderie, learn the teamwork, learn resilience, learn strength, learn all that stuff. And we put our kids in sports to learn just to be an athlete.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, because I put my son in sports to learn these lessons that I'm not just able to teach every day.
Right.
So my son learns that you got hurt, but you push through it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got teammates who don't want to work as hard as you, but you got to encourage them, son.
Right.
You got to learn this stuff now. So if my son wants to go be a doctor, then he's going to take that teamwork, that camaraderie, and that leadership to that hospital.
And the discipline. Like my father, I'm one of 9. It was mandated that everyone had to play a sport.
Yes.
So we all had to play sports from young elementary all through high school. And then some of my siblings who were really good played in college. I didn't play anything in college. But we couldn't get out of it because it was supposed to set discipline for us.
Absolutely. And so my son is understanding that now. He's only 6, but he's understanding what work means because he's starting to watch himself get better at things or watching himself be good on the field versus the other kids. He's seeing it now. And I'm like, son, how did you get that good? Because we spent hours practicing. We done flew out of town to practice. We done practice just regular day. We practice in the house. We practice in the garage. We practice at the field. And he's just wondering at the time, like, why are we out here?
Right.
Nobody else is here. But I ask him before we start practice, every time we practice out there on the fields, when it's not baseball season, especially, I say, before we start, every time I say, son, who out here? He say, nobody. I say, exactly. I said, because you out here. You're out here. You're putting the work in. Nobody else is out here because they're not putting in the work. I said, that's what's going to make you stand out. And so even him learning to be coachable too, because I'm not going to always be able to coach him all the time. When I start doing other stuff or whatever, he's going to have to start going to practice without me. He's going to have to start being coachable without me.
Yeah.
And so he's going to have to learn now to give 100% when I'm not there, to do your best when I'm not there. He's going to have to learn character already. So if he decides he want to go be a lawyer, he's going to be the greatest because he's going to know he got to get up early. He have to work at it. So even I remember one time he had got frustrated with baseball because we were practicing a lot. So he's like, why don't I play basketball? I said, all right, cool. No, we did. He played basketball and I got him a basketball coach and he had to practice. I said, son,
it's just as bad.
he loves to draw.
Yeah.
Cool. He can draw really well to be a 6-year-old, very well.
Yeah.
But you know what he does? He has to watch videos on YouTube on drawing things. So he wonders why at 6 he can draw like Sonic and draw Garfield and all this stuff at 6 and wonder why other kids can't do it. I'm like, because you practice. I said, son, at no point, no matter what you do, I don't care how fun it is or how not fun it is, in order to be good at it, you have to put the work in. And so that's when he shifted back to wanting to continue playing baseball because he understands like, oh, nothing ain't easy. Nothing's easy if you want it. You know, and now we can go out there and be mediocre. You can go out there and not be the best. You can go out there and just be in the outfield because you just in the way.
Right.
Yeah. You know.
The position I played in softball.
Yeah. You go play the outfield. We can go out here and just be cute, but believe me, that's not finna spend no money for you to be out here being mediocre. No, if we're gonna do something, we're gonna do it to the best of our ability. So he's finna get ready to start playing the violin. He ready to play that. But I got my old violin teacher that taught me how to play violin in high school.
Yeah.
He's going to teach my son at 6.
Oh, you're so amazing. I picked up violin in 5th grade and put it right back down. I wish I would have kept it going.
But he's ready to play it. And I'm telling him, you know, you know, you're gonna have to be putting some practice hours, right? Like, you're gonna have to practice when Mr. Alice is not here.
Yeah.
Alice you're gonna have to practice when he's not coming around. You're gonna practice those hours when you're not in practice. So he's having to understand, like, son, you have to practice outside of practice, even for when we do practice with our team with baseball. If we have practice at 3 o'clock, I say, son, what time we gotta be to practice at? If I say we got practice at 3, what time should be to practice? He say 2. I say, exactly. We got to be out there an hour early.
Yeah.
And he know we the last to leave. After everybody else leave, then we leave.
Yeah.
He knows if we have practice, and I want him to make that paramount. So when you have a workshop to go to, if you're a doctor and got to be to the hospital at 5, you know you need to be there at 4.
Right.
You need to make sure everything's squared away. You are not on time unless you're there an hour early. He knows that already. So I'm like, son, they said we got to practice at 4. He's like, okay, mom, dad said we got to be practice at 3. He already know that. Like,
you're raising a strong young man. I love it.
We're trying to do. And so people have something to say about my parenting all the time. And I'm just like, okay, well, watch my son continue to walk circles around y'all's, because we're going to put that work in. Same with the boxing. You know, they box and stuff like that. And he's going to, you know, compete in February. But I hope he gets his butt kicked, you know, in February, because it takes a true loss to really build that resilience in you. Same thing with this season. For baseball, I told my son, I told my videographer, I said, before the season started, I said, man, I hope baby King really take a bad L this season. So we only lost maybe like 3 games during the season, but it was playoff time. We are training for the championship. The championship team that we knew we was going to play, we hadn't beat them all season. We had a recipe for them. So my son had never played outfield, but that team always only hit balls in the outfield. So it's like our infielders didn't even matter. My son played second base and short.
Right.
But that didn't matter those games, because they hitting it down the outfield. And so our outfielders wouldn't get in the ball. It wasn't even on my mind. My son came to me first and said, Daddy, I want to play the outfield. I said,
wow. So he already knew to strategize.
He was like, we need to play the outfield. I was like, that makes sense. I said, Daddy didn't even think of that.
Yes.
So we started training in the outfield for the championship. And my son had told him he had wanted this 4-wheeler. We saw at this motorcycle place. He wanted this 4-wheeler. I said, okay, cool. Win the championship. We get the 4-wheeler or whatever like that. So he working like all season. So on top of that, we are preparing for the Braves, the Little League Braves. We preparing for them. I mean, we is ready. My son has learned how to catch outfield balls like crazy and throw it back in fast. Like, he's ready.
What's your son's team's name?
Our team was the Bulldogs at the time.
The Bulldogs.
Yeah,
okay.
So I was the Bulldogs at the time. And so the team that we was playing the playoffs, we beat them all season. We weren't even necessarily worried about them. Man, we get the championship game. Baby King is out there playing his butt off. And it's like the rest of the team, it's just we weren't really clicking until the end of the game. And literally at the end of the game, we lost like by 1 point.
Wow.
And Baby King lost his mind. all the other kids are running for snacks. Baby King is out there bawling his eyes out. He's so upset. I'm trying to talk to him and everything.
Well, because he worked so hard
hard. We was moving him all around the field. I moved him to the mound. I moved him to the second base. We trying to move him to make the plays, and he was making them. He catching balls like out the air. He throwing people out, tagging for. I mean, he is doing his best. He hitting balls. He is trying.
Right.
He saved the game like 3 or 4 times, literally from us losing earlier. But he just kept saving the game. Oh my God, he lost. He just boo-hoo, just upset. And I'm talking to all the other kids just going to get their snacks.
And in that moment where he is experiencing a failure, is that the time you're hugging him or you're talking to him? How are you discussing this type of failure?
That's the time I spoke to him.
You spoke to him.
I said, son, eat it. I talked to him. I said, no, come here. I said, you did everything you could. I said, but sometimes you're going to do your best and it ain't going to be enough. And I said, honestly, your best could be better. I told him, I said, were there not times you could have ran faster though? Yes. Were there times you could have hit harder and followed through with your swing? Yes. Were there times you missed balls because you weren't running as fast as you could? Yes. My point. So don't just think, you did your best today. There were times where we could have been the number 1 seed and we wouldn't even have to play them if you would have been giving your all in a couple other games ago or whatever like that. So I'm like, you need to critique yourself, son. I'm like, think about things that you could have done still to win this game. But that was the dog he needed to continue playing baseball right now.
Yeah.
So he's on the All-Star team now. So, and I've already told him that the Lee County All-Stars, which is the city over, they beat Albany all the time. They beat the brakes off Albany last year. And my son ain't having that. Like when we come, because he's ready for it.
Yeah.
And so when I mentioned boxing, he's going to compete in February. He takes boxing a little serious. He boxes a little bit. But in February, I want him to go find a kid and I want them to beat the brakes off of him. And I want him to lose that fight so he can get his butt in that gym
and really, really want to box.
Because it has to be real.
Right.
It's not real till you get punched in the face.
Right.
And that was another video of ours that kind of went around too, because he sparred for the first time. He sparred a 10-year-old kid. And of course he wasn't like going hard on him like that, but he sparred him. But before we sparred, he was scared. because he had never been punched in the face before. So I put my gloves on, I put on some headgear on, we got in my garage and we started boxing. And of course I wouldn't hit him to hurt him or nothing like that. Like nothing ever hurt him, but I was punching him to a point where it was shocking him because it was too fast. He was like, "Dad, you're punching too fast." And he just started crying. He just stopped, just dropped his hands. I said, "No, put your hands up." I said, "You've been boxing for a year and a half now." I said, "Put your hands up and do everything Coach Dino has taught you to do."
Yeah.
And so he started moving his head. I said, "You see how you moving your head and you missing these punches now? You see how you weaving?" I said, "Now throw punches back. Throw your combos, son." And he caught me a couple times. I said, "That's what you're supposed to do." And so when we got to the sparring session the next day, he got in there and the kid's significantly taller, obviously.
Yeah.
He got a couple licks in. Like he punched him in the face a couple times or whatever. And he was surprised. And he finished, he said, "I didn't know I could do that." That's what daddy's for.
Right.
That's what daddy's for.
Right.
I'm not there to give him no hug and coddle him because he was crying.
Right.
I was there to walk him through his crying and show him how to fix the problem because you're crying for a reason.
Right.
And most problems are solvable. Let's teach them how to solve the problem instead of just sitting there in it. I don't teach the sitting. They're like, "Oh, it's okay for boys to cry." It is. But he knows if I ask my son right now, I say, "What we do? Cry and fix it." That's what he knows. He says we cry, but we fix it. So that's how we do it.
I work in the intersection of Black and Jewish relations, basically to bridge both of the communities together, and then also to highlight issues in both communities. How could the Jewish community be a better ally to the Black community in terms of even supporting your work and what you're doing with boys? But if a Jewish person is watching this and saying, "Listen, I really want to strengthen Black and Jewish relations again. I want to see it be like the times of Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement." How could they get involved? What could they do? What would it look like to be a true ally to the Black community?
I mean, be helpful in the community that you're in. Because I'm not like you got to help me or whatever. If you're in an area, most areas have somewhere Black that somebody's trying to help, and those organizations are struggling. I help a lot of organizations in our hometown that are struggling because they just don't get the support. But most cities have Black organizations that are trying to help the Black community in their areas, but they don't get the support. They're constantly trying to have to apply for grants and they barely making it, and they shutting down all the time because they can't get the financial support. Go find one of those organizations that needs your help for real, and go support, because it's some organization right now in your neighborhood that is struggling on their last leg and they are really in need of support because they are truly trying to help their community. That's who needs the support. Those around you. And I always say another thing to do is just find a reason to make somebody smile in your area. And I always tell people, you don't have to, again, have this big platform or this big building, or people think they need 1,000 followers or 100,000 or 1,000,000 followers to start helping. No, help now. And even if it's something small, even if it's a kid you see every day walking home from school, make a relationship with their parent and tell them that you want to mentor that child, whatever like that, and help them every day. Go find a family to feed, anything. Get back to that village, because that's what we're missing now in the Black community. Nobody wants anybody to say something to their child. Nobody wants the discipline anymore. Like I was dealing with a situation again on the baseball team, and one of my students got very disrespectful with his mom in the dugout. And so I raised my voice at him. I'm like, "Hey son, what your mama just said do? Like, don't do that. Go sit your butt down and do what she asked you to do."
Right.
Like that. But his dad, gets upset with me for getting on to him.
Yeah. So you're saying we need to get back to village raising kids, everyone in the community.
If I'm not around and my son disrespects his mom like that, in that manner, I want every man over there. I mean, every man within distance that heard it to get on his butt.
Right.
Every last one that could find him to get on his behind. And then tell me, and I'm going to get on his butt too.
Right.
That's what I believe in. He was like, you just continue coaching. He don't need all that. He got a daddy and this and that. I'm like, I am coaching. You're not going to disrespect no parents in this dugout,
right,
or whatever. Now, if you don't want him on my team, then you can take him away. But we're not doing that,
right,
whatever like that. So I just, I left it at that situation. But I'm just like, this ain't cut out for me because I'm traditional. And if my kid out here being disrespectful, you gonna get on his butt. That's how it was with my football coaches. Our parents used to go tell our football coaches on us. Like they would literally, if we got in trouble, did something stupid at home, we don't clean our room. Coach Nelson of the Seahawks, my mama came and tell him I was acting up at school. We getting it at practice.
Yep, that's true.
We just getting it.
That's true. That's true.
You don't want to clean your room? Now don't worry about it. Run. Don't even worry about it. I bet that room clean you got home. That's what our football coaches was for. Coach Nelson of the Albany Seahawks, he just retired. I think he just stopped coaching the Seahawks team or whatever. And he was one of my football coaches. And I still got old pictures from 2009. But when I got in trouble at school, I knew for a fact I was getting that practice. Now we got this thing where if kids get in trouble, you want to take them away from their sports and take them away from the everything that they're doing. I'm like, no, especially with my program, people think that the program's for fun. I'm like, no. When our kids get in trouble, the mom's like, hey, I'm gonna take him out the program because he got in trouble at school. I'm like, no, send him to me now.
Right.
That's when you really need to send him to me because I really want to get him. He's not finna be here having fun.
Right.
His butt. Like that's where we need to get back
to. Right about that. I remember when I would get in trouble at school, I would get punished. I couldn't use my phone and stuff, but my dad still made me go to basketball practice. Absolutely. And he was like, that's the only thing you get to do is you're going to basketball practice and you're going to practice twice a day now. It's like basketball was never stripped for me, even though everything else was stripped, you know, because it's not really a luxury to play a sport per se, you know?
Yep. And I know my son, he's always, just because of how I train, he's always going to be one of the better kids on his team.
Yeah.
And so if he does get in trouble, you're going to be at all the practices, but you're going to go to the game and watch your team need you.
Oh
that's gonna hurt.
Or whatever.
Really I may make sure you practice. You might go to the field. You might travel with them, do whatever they need to do. But you want to act up. You don't want to clean your room. It's okay.
Yeah.
Watch your team need you.
Yeah.
Watch them need you. And I want your team to get upset with you for not being able to play.
Yeah.
And that'll help fix you a little bit because I don't need to spank my kids. Now I will say, I do spank them.
Okay.
But maybe like once a year.
Okay.
A child, my kids, I say they try me once a year. Right. Literally. Like it's once a year that they're gonna do something where you gonna have to get a whooping for that. You're gonna have to get this pain. And it ain't nothing crazy. I can give them like 2-3 licks tops.
Right.
It ain't no whole bunch of whooping or nothing like that.
Right.
But the reason I do that is because a kid still has to understand, especially a boy, that there's a line that you will cross and their violence will appear.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah.
And that's any human.
Because that happens in real life.
It's real life.
Yeah, like in adulthood, that will happen to you.
If I go to a man right now and I do enough and I cross a certain line, what's going to happen? I'm going to get hit in the lip.
Yeah.
The spite is going to happen. So for my children, there's things that they'll do and there are lines that they will cross. And I have to show them that violence appears at this moment. But do I whoop them often? Oh, they hadn't got a whooping this year. Or whatever, so they're doing good. Right. They hadn't crossed the line yet, but I know it's coming.
Right.
It's coming. Or whatever.
Somewhere around November.
Yeah, somewhere around November, December. It's coming. Or whatever. And so I'm gonna have to give them their 2-3 licks because I have to show them that I'm still capable of, hey, all right now.
Yeah.
You're running out now.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, don't get too comfortable.
Don't get too comfortable or whatever. So that's how I handle that. I mean, they do wall sits all the time and like running and stuff like that. Yeah. They'll do exercises, but if they do something drastic, yeah, buddy.
King Randall, thank you so much for coming on the Black and Jewish podcast. Can you please, you can look into this camera and just tell people how they can support your work, support the school, and donate to your program.
Sure. My name is King Randall again. You can support me by following us on all social media platforms at New Emerging King. You can find all of our social media there. And our website is thexforboys.org. That's thexforboys.org. Everything you heard me explain today, we have it all on videos, pictures, whatever. You can see it all. We got an Amazon wish list. We got donation buttons, Bitcoin, whatever. And even if you want to just send us a letter or send us something in the mail, our P.O. box is there. But I'd appreciate all your support. And again, thank you to Ms. Ashira for having me on.
Thank you. All right, guys, that is a wrap on this week's episode. Please comment down below what you learned new. I know you learned a lot of things new. Let me know, what do you think about manhood? What do you think about how we're raising our young boys? Do we need to be more stricter on these boys? And just let me know what you thought about this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe so I can bring you more episodes like this, more guests like this, more engaging thought ideas that you're not used to seeing all the time. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.